Alrighty, hello there guys, welcome to the Midland Mainline. Today we're at Derby doing another route learning video between Derby and Sheffield. Today in the class 222 Meridian. So what we're going to do is we're going to hop in the cab and prepare the train for departure. In the cab, there's not much to actually do except the master key in, reverse it to neutral, reset the AWS self-test. We can look ahead, we've already got the road set for us, so we can release the DRA. Set the headlights to day mode and just verify on the repeater we've got day headlights on this side, and on the repeater we've got remote tail lights activated, which is exactly what we're looking for. And we'll do a quick NRN self-test. There we go. We'll set the instrument backlighting, and that is the cab prepared for departure. Yeah, didn't take long, did it? For a change with me. So quick tour of the cab. We've got a the headlight controls, headlight repeaters, remote tail light controls. So you can see when I press that a couple of seconds later, it affects the tail lights at the back of the train. The reverser is 4-step, off, forward, neutral, reverse. When we're in a station, we should always set it into the neutral position. Amongst other things, it stops us accidentally pulling away if interlock was to fail. But basically, it prevents sort of it's a sort of third layer of insulation in a duplicate failure situation. We've also got brake cylinder indicator, main reservoir indicator, DRA as we discussed earlier, TMS. Bit of a life hack: if you want to isolate your DSD, press that button there. We've got the brake percentage indicator and the speedometer. We've also got the backlighting indicator, thingy backlight there, sounding controls, AWS reset, two-tone horn controlled by the spacebar and the B key, and just like that, our buzzer. Had I timed that, it couldn't have been better. Reset the DSD, and away we go. So start speed on departure here, with the voice crack like from all hell, is 40 miles an hour. And yeah, we'll be looking out for the 60 limit, which is just after this next bridge. Our next stop is Velpa in 7 3/4 miles. When I first made these videos, I found that I would try and neutralise my accent, try and sound very calm, very smooth. And I was pretty much directly emulating PTG, and I completely own up to that. Now it's a lot more. I'm recording these videos a lot more regularly, and it's the main content I make for the channel now. And I've found I'm a lot more relaxed and a lot more comfortable in myself, I guess, making these videos, which is good. I believe that's Vulcan House on the left, which is really upsetting when you know what Vulcan Foundry is. The birthplace of the Class 37s. It's the only way I can describe it. And we've got the road. We can go up to 60 miles an hour now. So I'm going to accelerate quite swiftly. Now these units are really quite fast, actually. Which is one of the cool things about them. It's just how quick they go. There's 50. And we're going over the crossovers here. These are 60 limits. Hit idle power in. And as soon as we clear this crossing, we'll clear up to 110, as we're now on the down fast lane. That's it clear there, so I'll just go straight into full power. And we'll go up for 110. Now, I've got a really nice preset in my RWB Enhancer at the moment, which makes the colours really nice and vivid. But I also think the level of detail in this route is really awesome. The Midland Mainline is, I think, is pretty much a spot-on route as far as train sim goes. They're very uncommon. I also find it kind of weird driving a 4-car Meridian. I mean, when I travelled, it was I think I was in a 7-car, which also feels quite strange as well. So yes, this thing motors when you get up to speed. I say, and it's accelerating. The low end is a bit underwhelming, but it just accelerates at that rate constantly. You know, HST by this point will be struggling to keep accelerating, whereas this thing's pretty much going for it. Yeah, so the countryside here is just. I've been down this section of the route. I did it close to Christmas, so it's a bit greyer and bleaker, as the UK is around Christmas time. But apart from that, it was pretty spot on. You know, the feel of the route, which I think is sometimes the most difficult to capture. We'll just leave notch 1 in and keep cruising up the Midland. But the feel of the route is just spot on. It is very sort of green, rural. I don't like to use the phrase rural, but sort of farmy, agricultural area. You know, whereas if you compare that to the feel of the north end of the east coast, where yes, there's a lot of farmers' fields, but you know these are sort of used for crops. So up there, it's all sort of sheep and that kind of stuff. You do get, you know, once you get north of about Alnmouth, really, you don't have you have very few you know, farms actually doing crop. So I just sounded my horn there for the approach and pass through Sheffiled Station, just because we are, you know, doing a morning service. I always think it's pertinent to give a blast on the horn when you pass through a station, especially at speed, because you know there'll be a lot of passengers there going to work, and I don't know about you guys, but I very rarely pay attention to the world when I'm going to work. So it was 2.6 miles to go passing that station. As we exit out of the tunnel, we're going to start slowing down to stop. We are on a very slack timetable. I believe the timetable is probably designed so if a Meridian's unavailable, they can just substitute a sprinter of some sort. Okay. Just break it in 6 down for the speed now. I always get nervous when I see little groups of vans parked by the side of the track like that, because that can mean track gangs are in the area, and you know you just want to keep your eyes open for any potential people on the track. There we go. So I'm just going to bring the speed off. We're now coming into Velpa Station. Velpa Station's really quite distinctive because of these archways over the track. So this archway under the track, which is an inverted arch, which is basically the way they secured the railway. We go. Pretty happy with that stop. Just to advise you as well, I have modified this scenario somewhat. Initially it has you run it with a 7-car train, but as you can see a 7-car train just would not fit in the station, a 5-car train barely would. And I know that's why these have SDO, but it just, I found it a lot more immersive to drive it as a 4-car. Now that we are in the station, what we can do is just go back to neutral, and that way the DSD won't sound whenever, so every 30 seconds or so. So you can see we arrived around 3 minutes early, and that is, as I say, my understanding of why, the reason I believe this was this scenario, or this timetable, the timetable for this train is pathed around a sprinter unit or unit of such ilk. I won't do a jump cut. I'll find something to talk to you about. So yes, the Triple Twos are, I find them weird, because it was Bombardier when Bombardier made the when Bombardier came up with these, they'd had the Voyagers, which were fairly successful, I guess, and then these are sort of like a Voyager 2.0, where it looks like a Voyager, it pretty much is a Voyager, it doesn't tilt, because the tilt on the Voyagers, apart from the West Coast Voyagers, is really just not used. And a lot of the stuff's moved into the under the train to give more room, which is kind of cool. But they weren't built that long after the Voyager, and you'd say it would contain lessons learned from the Voyager, but it doesn't. I've got to say I personally prefer the Voyagers, actually, especially the current configuration. I travelled on this at Christmas, and as you can imagine, it was pretty ram-packed. And if you look in the, unfortunately, this is the car with the restaurant in it. I forget the fancy name for it, but they only have the luggage racks at the coach ends, whereas on cross country, so basically I travelled. Where did I travel? I travelled from Rochester to St Pancras on a 395. That was pretty cushy. I then hopped on the Meridian from St Pancras up to Sheffield. Then I changed in Sheffield onto a Voyager, which took me the rest of the way up to Newcastle. So I had about the same amount of time on the Voyager and the Meridian. And I'd say the Meridian, there was no extra luggage space. So the way it was parked at St Pancras was really badly signposted. So the train was signposted as departing from whatever the platform number, but they had two Meridians parked together, which I think had arrived as one, then had been uncoupled. But had I not seen like a guard getting on the train, I wouldn't have known to go up that end of the train. And I thought it was strange. I'm standing next to a train that has Corby on the door. I thought, that they could have just been fiddling around with it. But all the lights inside are off, and it's due to depart in 5 minutes. So obviously by the time I got to the train, all the luggage space had been taken. So I am 6'3" tall. That was a weird sound. I'm pretty sure I heard a track sound there. Interesting. Oh, there go the doors. So I'm going to thingy back. Clear the DSD again. And our start speed is 80 miles an hour, with our next stop being Chesterfield in 16.4 miles. We're going to just thrash out of here. I'm just going to go straight into full power. Again, you can get away with that on this unit because it manages the wheel slip and slide really well. But yeah, so all the luggage space has been taken, so I had to sit in. Yeah, these are all facing each other. Unfortunately, there's no airline-style seats that I can show it off on. But I had to sit with not much legroom and my case sort of shoved in front of me. I was glad the catering only came past once, because that was, I pretty much had to leave my legs on the platform at St Pancras. But then in the Voyager on the way back, on the Voyager on the way further north, I think they removed the onboard shop restaurant, onboard shop thing majig. So what they had done there was they'd removed that and replaced it with luggage racks. So it was a Christmas service rammed full. It was standing room only. Luckily I had a reservation because it has the smart. I had the reservation, which saved my bacon on that one. But there was more than enough space in the luggage racks, even on a full service at Christmas. So, from a passenger perspective, so it's providing you've got providing you've got the reservation. There we go. About notch one. Is that the Wash Valet joining us? Nope, not yet. Nope, that's nothing rejoining us. Okay, the line diverging to the left here is the line towards Matlock and Matlock Bath. I am hoping to do a route learning video there in the future. I'm just trying to balance my content out, so I don't want to do too much UK stuff or too much German stuff. I'm focusing at the moment actually on the German and the UK stuff, because that's what I'm sort of reasonably good at, I guess. Cool. I do love the tunnels on this route as well. But as I say, I'm focusing on the German and the UK stuff because that's what I feel like I'm good at. But I'm hoping to expand back onto the American stuff very soon. Probably with the next American route for Train Simulator, for Train Sim World, sorry. So yeah, Sandpatch Grade I'm struggling with because it's so long. And yeah, it's such a long route. Or takes so long to drive, I should say. It takes about 90 minutes end to end. And that's really on the long side for one of my videos. I prefer sort of 20 to 40 minutes. Also, realistically, 20 to 60, with 40 being my my favourite. We've got the 110 limit there, so we can keep accelerating. 110 is the fastest we get on this route. This train is capable of doing 125. They've only recently been able to get up to that with the upgrades on the Midland Mainline. But yeah, they're pretty cool, pretty schwick. It's worth adding actually that the Meridians have operated both on the East Midlands route, where they replaced some HSTs and all the Class 170s, as well as on the East Coast for Hull trains. So Hull trains, again, they replaced 170s with Hull trains. And with Hull trains, they say they replaced the 170s, and then they were replaced again by 180s. Because I think Hull trains had a rather checkered experience with these, is probably the polite way to put it. I think it was, the reason they got replaced by the 180s is, I think, obviously Hull trains had been acquired by First Group, who were looking to offload the 180s from Great Western to someone. And, you know, who better than a subsidiary? Yeah, so this is a bit of a cruise section. Again, I love I love the way this route's made. I really enjoy the asset block grass. It's one of the projects I'm working on at the moment. Is actually going to use that. I'm working on an upgrade for the East Coast Main Line between London and Newcastle and York, in sort of a BR Blue era, because that's an era I'm really enjoying simulating at the moment in the scenarios I build. That's that sort of pre-electrification, sort of 1990s BR, where you know there's just so much variety you can get away with. And you know, I really enjoy variety in my scenarios. So I'm working on that, and I've been using the asset blocks on that and on East Mid's Coal to make the foliage just look a bit nicer. There's this screenshot I'll probably share in future in terms of what I've been working on using sort of, you know, the asset block grass, but things like buffers at the end of hedge runs. You know, having a bit the bit that trains don't really go up to, that's a bit overgrown, getting some nettles in there. you know, just working some stuff out. It just looks really nice in the end. It's just going to be about getting that all sorted out. There comes the Voyager. Give him a little wave. So fun fact, until about 30 years ago, about 30 years ago, I'm not sure what the date would be, but until not that long ago, you'd flash the headlights on your train to say that the road ahead was clear. But now, in line with the way the roads are, if you flash your headlights, that's a hazard. This is one of my favourite tunnels. So again, the headroom in this above the train is awesome. One thing I actually really like about this, and you'll see it after Chesterfield, is how the feel of the route changes. So it started off quite urban, then we went out of the city into into sort of farmland really. Now we've got the Erewash Valley route joining from the right, and we're approaching Chesterfield. So I've got my eyes out now for a 60 Morpeth board. That doesn't apply to us, but it's a good judgment point for the braking for Chesterfield Station. I believe it's in the area of this next bridge. No, disregard, I believe it does apply to us. Yep, that'll do me. Maybe it won't. I did some cheats there. Again, now the route sort of changed really, hasn't it, into a more hilly area. And I know tunnels help you get away with making quite a big environmental change without it being too jarring. I know that was a trick pro mods used to use in ETS. But the environment does feel very different. Okay, that does feel a bit on the sparse side. I'm going to keep looking ahead. There we go, we'll just throw it to idle for a while. There's another meridian going towards us. Probably on its way down to London. I think that's one of the 7-car trains. They do look so much longer. It almost feels a bit peculiar. It's got the 90 limit. Okay, we're just going to pull that speed off now. There goes a loaded Freightliners train. Okay, we can see the station ahead of us there now, so I'm just going to slow down at about 35 miles now. One of the interesting things about this video is it used to be this is about the fifth time, sorry, I've attempted to record it. It is very deeply cursed for me at this point. And welcome to Chesterfield. Going in for that stop marker there. Yeah, the braking characteristics of this train are very strange to get used to. In the majority of sort of sprinter units, I always find the acceleration a little bit sketchy to get nailed down. Whereas in this, it's that way with the braking. And we've arrived into this station just a minute early. This way it shouldn't be too unbearably long. What time would you out? 41, so yeah, we should be fine. So, reverser can come back down to neutral now that the doors are opened. And we can hold the cab the way it is. So after this, our next stop is going to be Dronefield, which is 5¼ miles away. I can change the second side of my notes. Yeah, all this driving in two notes in one side of A5, eh? Go figure. Yeah, I've never cabbed a Meridian. I have cabbed a Voyager once, and I do remember it looking a lot like this. Yeah, because it was actually in Sheffield, because my mum was studying at Sheffield Uni at the time. She was an adult. She's in her 30s at the time. She's going to hate me for that. But she's doing a PhD. And she's going down to do some work. And I went down with her on the train. Remember it well. Remember it like it were yesterday. Try to think of something I've not talked about in the cab yet, but I've run out of things to talk about. That's cool, that changes the sound. That's the first time I've noticed that changed the sound. Yeah, you've also got the little light there, which is completely pointless, but it's a nice touch. I hate it when the AI walk down the edge of the platform. Like, I know we've all done it. There go the doors. That light needs to extinguish. There we go. Okay, Dronefield, I say, is our next stop. We're starting off at 90 miles an hour. I'd love to visit this route again in reality. Hopefully, I've started applying for jobs, so I should be in a decent position soon. There's the 90 post. And there it goes, and that track off again towards Barrow Hill, which is of course the Barrow Hill depot is a place again I'd love to visit actually. They have so many preserved locos on site. It's phenomenal. And it's one of the very few roundhouses I can think of in the UK. Again, the level of detail on this route is... as long as you're looking into the forward quadrant, you're not looking at right angles. At right angles, it lets itself down a little. But in the forward sort of 45 to 45, 90... So if you had a 90 degree thing and look 45 left, 45 right, this route looks fairly awesome. Right, and this would get away from me again. bings the AWS. It does actually keep me quite alert. So just doing this every now and again. Oh wait, that's weird. No, disregard. So as we enter this left-hand curve, now I'm going to start braking for Untitled Station. There you go, it's a good sighting of the station there on the curve. So yeah, I slowed down a little too soon there. But Untitled Station is quite well, I say it's quite difficult. I can sort of sight it visually from here, but again, it's balancing the Meridian's ability to stop in a hurry and timeliness. You know, it's always better, in my opinion, to be late to getting somewhere than to either be speeding and, you know, put yourself and others in danger, or to miss the station. Both of which have historically been done. The problem is, I actually recorded this video once. So I recorded it once and didn't record. Second time, it crashed halfway through. Third time, I recorded but no audio did. This is fifth time procedural fauna was everywhere because RW enhancer. Sorry about that. Now, in this time round, you know, I'm being cautious, but I can't remember what I've spoken about in videos previously that have gone out or gone up, and what, you know, hasn't gone up, so to speak. Okay, so next, our next and final station after Dronfield is going to be Sheffiled, 7 miles away. Our start speed is 90 miles an hour, and we've got some speed changes coming up, which will be fun to deal with. I do find these checked lines here a bit of a strange phenomenon. There go the doors. It's strange the door power stays on, but we just don't get a buzzer. We look down the terrain, he's in a dangerous position. Oi, dude, shift. Cool, it's shifted. We'll go notch 3, do notch 3 departure. I've seen metro drivers do something very similar when people have been close to the side of the train. I've never actually experienced it on a mainline train before, but people don't know how to jump when they're not expecting a horn to sound. As I've documented many a time in my train spotting videos. So we do get to go speed up in a nice little amount coming out the station here. Coming up this hill, sorry. But again, as I mentioned with the feel of the route before, this again feels very different to me. You know, this has a feel more akin to sort of a mountainous railway. And we're going to level out as we end. The line levels out as we go through the tunnel. And we need to exit the tunnel at 70 miles an hour. So we're not going to get much beyond that, because I've been an idiot with my departure. Just sitting idle for a while. You can see we're starting to go downhill now. We've got the 70 because we're a multiple unit. Here goes HST. Look at that claggy beast. Give him a little wave. Goes whizzing past. Apparently there's a really nice curry house on that station. So that system now is basically erected to stop us seeing that red aspect and thinking it's for us, and then getting panicked because we have the road. Now, one of the cooler stories is in this area. There's usually quite a bit of congestion because you get cross country, bit of Transpan, bit of Northern. Usually, yeah, and you end up with a bit of a sort of choke point in the throat of the station. Got a 90 limit. Power going back in. So, I say we got held, and I'm not sure why we got held, but my seat was perfectly positioned that when I looked out, I could see a waterfall in the hillside. So it must have been in this area somewhere. But yeah, that was kind of cool. Oop, come on. So the acceleration in this train is very easy to get away from you. There we go. And then we've left the mountainous areas, and we're now coming back into the city again. So at this dual amber aspect, we've got a 1 mile to a 40 limit, so we'll gently start padding on the brake pressure. There's a ramp for a 50. Say we can slow down to 40 though. Just because you get the 50 then a 40. And it just depends what they advertise the ramp for. We've got a 15 limit as well. That is, however, on the approach into the station. Now we're entering the more urbanised area of Sheffield. So we've got a green with a feather, which means we'll be turning off to the right. Looks like another cross-country HST coming towards us. So I need to stand on the brake a little to get us down to 15 for this curve. Oh no, that's a 40 limit. My apologies, it's 15 going under the next bridge. Now actually when I was arriving into the station, there was one landmark I was looking out for at my window. It was that thing. And like everyone else is sort of standing queuing to get off at this point, and I'm still sitting in my seat with my magazine out. And I was like, cool. At this point, yep, I now agree. I need to start getting dressed and getting ready to leave the train. We've got a red, but we've got a calling on signal, so doesn't actually count as a red aspect. So we're going into platform number 8. We now do the painful phase of the arrival. That's the 15 limit, so we can gently bleed some speed off. That on the right there, that is the Sheffield tram. On the left, that is the train wash for Sheffield TMD, which is a northern depot. Probably the most southerly northern depot. Same as Heaton's probably the most northerly. Yeah, if you can think of a more southerly northern rail depot, or even northern or whatever they call themselves these days, pardon me, then do let me know in the comments. Okay, so we're now arriving into Sheffield. So do sit back and wait until we've arrived at the gate and the fasten seatbelt sign has been released. But I want to take the opportunity to thank you all for watching this video today. It does mean a lot. If you made it this far, comment "I'm a legend" in the comment section below. But not if you've skipped to the end because you wanted to see me fail arriving into Sheffield. Just, comment if you actually made it this far. Because I trust you. Hello, AP142. So yes, once again, thanks for watching, guys. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Now we'll pull a bit further forward, actually. Yep, about here. Thanks for watching, guys. See you. Bye for now.